wife is online now with us, watching us all on Skype. I would like to invite Rabbi Steve Wolnek, the CEO of United Synagogue of Conservative Judaism, that Steve Wolnek was the president of for many years, to light Ner Zikaron in memory of Steve. I'd like to invite Avraham Duvdevani, the chairman of the World Zionist Organization, to say some words. Please, you have earphones. Duvdev is going to speak in Hebrew, so
כאשר שמואל הנביא מת, אומר הפסוק בפרק כ"ו, פסוק א' בשמואל א', וימות שמואל ויקבצו כל ישראל ויספדו לו ויקברו בביתו ברמה. פשוט, שמואל מת, העם מתאסף, מספידים אותו וקוברים אותו ברמה. פרק כ"ו, פסוק א'. 3 פרקים יותר מאוחר, בספר שמואל א', בפרק כ"ח, פסוק ג', כתוב: ושמואל מת, ויספדו לו כל ישראל, ויקברו ברמה. רגע, זה כבר שמענו. לפני 3 פרקים, שמענו בדיוק את זה. ששמואל מת, וספדו לו כל ישראל, וקברו אותו ברמה. מה פתאום עכשיו חוזר הפסוק על מה שהוא כבר סיפר לנו לפני 3 פרקים? שמואל מת, העם היה בשוק. שמואל, הנביא הגדול, מת. אז התקבצו, ועשו לוויה גדולה, וקברו אותו, והספידו אותו. אבל לא הבינו ששמואל מת. לא עיכלו את זה ששמואל מת. אחר כך, אחרי שהוא מת, מתחילות בעיות. יש מלחמה עם פלישתים, יש בעיות קשות. איפה שמואל? כולם מרגישים פתאום ששמואל חסר. שהנה האיש היה צריך עכשיו להיות ולעזור ולפתור ולהנהיג את העם, איננו. חוזר הפסוק ואומר, אחרי כל זה, ושמואל מת. עכשיו העם הבינו ששמואל מת. עכשיו הם עוד פעם סופדים לו, וכאילו קוברים אותו מחדש, כי מרגישים ששמואל מת. אני חושב שבקטע הזה של פטירתו של סטיבן שלנו עברנו את אותו תהליך. כשקיבלנו את ה-SMS מהרב גרייס, פתאום הייתי באמצע נסיעה שבו הוא מודיע לנו שסטיבן וולנק מת. זה היה שוק. אפילו לא ידענו שהוא היה חולה. ראינו אותו 3 חודשים קודם פה, בירושלים. לא פה בתל אביב, היה בירושלים. וישבנו איתו, ועסקנו בדברים שעומדים ברומו של עולם. והוא הוביל את הדיון, והוא הוביל את הוויכוח, והוא זה שבסופו של דבר גם קבע מה כן ומה לא. והנה אנחנו שוב פה, אחרי שהשוק, שלא הקלנו אותו ימים, אבל אנחנו כבר, לא עברו כל כך הרבה ימים, וכבר אנחנו מרגישים שסטיבן מת. מרגישים עד כמה הוא חסר. להסתכל על האולם הזה בחבר הנאמנים, ולא לראות את סטיבן, זה פשוט חוסר. מי? האיש שכל דבר היה אכפת לו, ירד לפרטי, פרטי פרטים. היה יושב ראש ועדת כספים של LWD. ירד לפרטי פרטים על כל שורה, התווכח, דגש, לא ויתר. דעתן, יש לו השקפת עולם ברורה, מוביל, מנהיג במלוא מובן המילה. ולכן כשאנחנו היום בכל המגעים למיניהם, פתאום הכיסא ריק, פתאום אין את הדמות החזקה, הבטוחה, הנחושה בדעתה, והכל בנימוס, באדיבות, בחברות, בנעימות, אבל במוחלטות, בנחישות, להוביל למטרה ולייצג את התנועה שלו בצורה הכי טובה. סטיבן מת, אנחנו סופדים אותו, אנחנו מרגישים בחסרונו. החסרונו יהיה לכל התנועה הציונית, כל אירוע של כלל התנועה, נרגיש את זה, ובוודאי בתנועה הציונית בארצות הברית ובתנועה תנועה קונסרבטיבית, מרכז, על אחת כמה וכמה. יהי זכרו ברוך.
I'd like to invite Moshe Cohen, the interim chair of Merkaz Alami, who will also speak in Hebrew.
כל מילה שנאמרה פה היא ממש מילה שחקוקה בסלע, תודה רבה על מה שאמרת. דוקטור סטיב וולניק היה לי לחבר, אח בוגר ואב רוחני, לא רק לי, אלא לכל אחד איתנו פה בתנועה. סטיב היה אדם כן ואמיתי, ציוני ברמה חבריו, אוהב הבריות ואוהב העם בארץ ישראל. סטיב היה איש אשכולות ענב מאוד, וקשה לי היום לדבר עליו בלשון עבר. דאגתו לגורל העם בציון, ובכל מקום הוא יושב על פני כדור הארץ, הייתה רבה מאוד. סטיב השתייך לבית כנסת מהדגם ההוא, מהדגם הישן, של התנועה הקונסרבטיבית בארצות הברית, אותו יסוד של בית כנסת שהוא בעצם יצר את התנועה העצומה הזו בארצות הברית, וממנו צמחו התנועה המסורתית העולמית ותנועת מרכז עולמית, כזרוע פוליטית ששמה בראש דאגתיה את שיפור מעמדם ועתידם של היהודים המסורתיים בארץ וארץ ישראל בתפוצות. סטיב היה תומך נלהב בתנועה המסורתית בארץ בכל נושא הקשור לישראל. סטיב לעולם לא הפסיק לשרת את העם היהודי, וזאת עד טיפת נשמתו האחרונה. את עוצמת דאגתו לגורל העם ביטא בבהירות רבה. הוא ניחן בתכונות של מפשר ומקשר בין הבריות, אותן תכונות שחסרות להרבה מאוד מאיתנו. סטיב ידע היטב להפריד בין העיקר והטפל על מנת להתמקד ולחתור למטרה העיקרית. אני מאחל שרוחו וחיוכו ימשיך לשרות עלינו, ימשיכו להיות איתנו וילוו אותנו בתהליכי קבלת ההחלטות. סטיב, אתה תחסר לנו מאוד ונתגעגע אליך. יהיה זכרך ברוך.
Dr. David Brickstone, Vice Chairman of the World Zionist Organization and International Vice President of Merkaz Olamim.
Deb, how true your words are, how long it takes to really absorb it. And these meetings that are taking place over these last few days, we had a weekend of Masarti and Merkaz leadership from around the world together over Shabbat, the meetings of the Jewish Agency, and his absence is suddenly felt so much more palpable as a result of his not being here when we are counting on him. I want to share a few words about each of 4 different Steve Wolneks that I've come to know over the last 15 years or so. As a respected Jewish leader, as a passionate Zionist, as a loving husband and father and grandfather, and finally, as a friend. When I was at the home where Elisha's home, sitting shiva, we were looking through old albums and so on, and came across a picture of Steve Wolnek at the age of 15 as president of his US-wide chapter. And I was sitting talking to Elisha, and she can't think of a year that went by since Steve was 15 that he wasn't the president of one organization or another in a leadership capacity on an executive. It was just in his blood continually, and I didn't realize just how long it had gone back to the age of 15. As a passionate Zionist, with all that he had to do with the United Synagogue for all the years that he was there as a president and as a leader, the things that the United Synagogue established in Jerusalem, the Fuchsberg Center, the Nativ year-long program, the conservative yeshiva, all of these things were crucially important to Steve. He could have spent all of his time worrying about and concerned with building and establishing the conservative movement in the United States, but that was never enough for him. It always came through. His Zionism, his love for Israel always came through in this way as well, in establishing a real concrete and spiritual presence here in Israel, in the land of Israel, in Jerusalem. As a loving family man, I'd always seen him with Alicia, and how important it was for him to have her here with him in these meetings. Alicia, you might not know it, I understand you're listening in now. Steve was different at the meetings that you were at than the ones that you weren't at. So we were always appreciative of your being here as well. And I realized I called Alicia yesterday. I'd been meaning to call her for a long time already since Steve's death, and I never got around to her. And I realized after making the phone call last night that I don't think I called Alicia so much to comfort her and ask her how she was doing, but as I said, as a result of the meetings that were taking place here the weekend, I realized I called her to comfort myself, that he was really missing from me as well, and the loss that Alicia feels every day was suddenly very, very real and deep for me as well. Which brings me to knowing Steve as a trusted friend and confidant. I don't know if it's a surprise to others, but I always knew Steve was suspicious when I first applied for the position here in the Mosdot Leumim. I had come from a Ramah background. He was with United Synagogue. He was concerned would I be loyal and so on and so forth. And those suspicions very, very quickly changed from that on both of our sides, not really knowing each other, until Steve very quickly became not just a friend, but really a trusted confidant. And a number of times I would ask him, Steve, why are you going on with all of this? You could retire from your volunteer work and so on. And his answer, as I said at the funeral, although it wasn't phrased exactly in these words, his answer really was, Libi b'mizrach anochi b'sof ma'arav. That although he was living where he was, his heart was always here in Zion. And I can add that although he had his job, there was no question for me that it might be Anochi ba'avodah, aval libi be'am ha'yehudi. That I might have a day job, but my real job in this world, my real vocation, is with the Jewish people. And I had the privilege, it was actually Rabbi Tzvi Gretz's idea that when I went on behalf of our movement to his funeral from Israel, I took some soil from the land of Israel to place in his grave, a mixing of body and soul, so to speak. I was privileged to have the opportunity to do that. And the reverse of it is, and when I spoke to Alicia last night as well, she said to please make sure that the opportunity here is given to people. Just as we took some of the soil of Israel and planted it with Steve's body, we have the opportunity to take something of Steve's spirit and plant it here in the land of Israel through the grove of trees that we are going to be planting and dedicating in his memory. And I urge all of you to take advantage of the opportunity here this evening to contribute to that possibility of taking something of his spirit and leaving it here in the land of Israel that was so very, very precious to him.
Thank you, David. The forms for the trees are on the tables. I would like to invite Jillian Kaplan, the president of Masorti Olami.
I feel it is a great honour and privilege to be given the opportunity to talk about Steve, especially when I look around and realise how many people are here who knew and loved Steve for a lot longer than I did. Many of the things I say will have already been said, but my relationship with Steve since I became president of Masorti Olami was short but intense. Getting to know one another and travelling together, primarily, but not exclusively, in Israel and Latin America. It was not always so easy for Steve, as an established leader of many major American Jewish organizations and long-term Merkaz president, to work with this new European. We had different styles, but Steve was open and supportive, and his knowledge and experience were an enormous asset. and together we found ways to bring Merkaz and Masorti closer together as we travelled around the world. Steve's calm and measured approach to everyone we met, and genuine concern that the outcomes of our meetings should be positive, were a genuine lesson in leadership. But the lasting and most outstanding memories I have will, of course, be at Congress last year. It is impossible, even now, to believe that it was only 4 months ago, and Steve's energy and commitment to Merkaz Olamim and Masorti Olamim during the months leading up to Congress, and at the many and various meetings that were held in the States and in Israel, was amazing. His leadership was an example to us all, and I, for one, will try hard to live up to it.
Thank you. I'd like to invite Alan Silverman, immediate past president of Masorti Olamim.
Wish Governor, when we first hear of the death of a friend and a colleague, we think first, I think, of his or her family, and most of us, I think, then turn our thoughts to his or her accomplishments, to the positions they held, and to the work that's left undone. But when we come to the time of the funeral, and we hear the words of El Rachamim, our focus begins to change. It's not the list of accomplishments or the work left undone that is part of our prayer. Instead, the words point in a much different direction. Vayitzror b'tzror ha'chayim v'nishmato, that his soul should be bound up in the bonds of life. I know for me, I find those words sometimes very, very difficult. How is a soul bound up in the bonds of the web of life of those who still remain? But when I reflect on Steve and his life, I think I can begin to understand the answer. From now and going forward, we focus on the values that motivated his accomplishments. And we understand that those values are indestructible. For me, there are 3 values that define Steve's life, and they are left to us. Passion. Passion for the conservative movement, passion and for the impact that the conservative Masorti movement can have on Jewish life throughout the world, and passion for Tzionut, for the indelible connection of every Jew to Eretz Yisrael. Love, Ahavat Yisrael, and Ahavat Am Yisrael. And determination, a very firm position, but one that was always coupled with an open ear. When Steve took a position, he was prepared to hold it to the end, but it was coupled with an open ear that allowed him to consider alternatives that were still consistent with his overall goals. Passion, love, determination. If we here commit to adopt and implement those values, and if they inform our work going forward, then in fact his soul will be bound up in the bonds of our life. And thus we pray, Tehei Nishmatot Zarur B'Tzor HaChayim, Tehei Zikro Baruch.
I'd like to invite Rabbi Alan Silverstein, past president of the Masorti Foundation.
Thank you, Tzvi. I too feel very honored to offer a few words of testimony to Steve's life. And like, as Jill said, it's kind of hard after so many appropriate accolades have been presented to add additional information. I'd just like to give a different framing. I'd like to point out to my congregants that when a person is born, our soul inhabits this world, Olam Hazeh, for a finite amount of time, and is given the opportunity ultimately to grow and to ascend to Olam Haba based upon our deeds. And the quality of those deeds oftentimes can be measured by taking a look at the Hebrew name with which we've been blessed at birth, a name that often gives a semblance of the potentials for imparting our deeds to the highest degree during our lifetime. Steve's Hebrew name was Shimon. The Shin stands for Sherut, for serving others. As we've heard, Steve was a born leader from age 15. He was someone who devoted his life in Sherut to others. His hobby, his primary pursuit, his passion, indeed, was to serve in collective approaches of Jewish life. In terms of Sherut, he certainly did excel. Second letter of Shimon is the Mem. We're standing here honoring Merkaz and Masorti. Steve exhibited unconditional devotion to Zionist commitments, to the state of Israel, to Am Yisrael, to Jewish peoplehood, in ways that he exhibited with that determination and passion and understanding in his 10 years, first as president of Merkaz USA and then as president of Merkaz Olami. The third letter of Shimon is the ayin for arachim, for values. Steve was a fabrent, conservative and sorti Jew. He embodied and was guided by the values which make our tenuah, our movement, unique, special, and impactful. We're not a movement that's either or, we're a movement of both and. A movement of both halakha, of law, and of agadah, ethics. A movement of both tzionut, Israel, and of a strong Tfutzel diaspora. The next letter of Shimon is the Vav. Vav is a connecting letter. It binds words to one another and people to one another. Steve was a connector. He was an ultimate bridge person, binding scores of other people to one another, as he exhibited as president of the United Synagogues New York region, then the International United Synagogue, then Merkaz Olami, then the World Zionist Organization and the Jewish Agency. And finally, the last letter of Shimon is the Nun for Nachat, for deriving joy, fulfillment, sustainable energy from loved ones, from family. What enabled Steve to remain grounded, what enabled him to be capable of these remarkable achievements, was the quality of the love that he received from his family and that he imparted to them. To his loving wife, Alicia, we extend our sympathies, but also our admiration to you, as well as to his sons, Seth and Ivan, that we are ever indebted to you for sharing Steve with all of us. In terms of each letter of this highly praiseworthy name, Steve Wolnek did excel. Yehi zichro baruch. May the memory of the life and the impact of Steve, of Shimon Wolnek, remain as a source of blessing. Amen.
I'd like to invite Avi Meir, a spokesman to the international media, the Jewish Agency, and also acknowledge the presence of the chairman of the Jewish Agency, Natan Sharansky. Thank you for being us and for all the other honoring guests that are here.
I am the spokesman of the Jewish Agency, but I also oversaw the Jewish Agency Board of Governors subcommittee that Steve chaired, the subcommittee on Israel advocacy, which is how I first came in contact with him. And it's very strange for me to be here with all of you, and for him not to be here. It's strange for me to see Masorti Kippot and realize that I won't see his again. And it's also profoundly sad. I think I'm probably one of the younger, perhaps the youngest person here. I didn't know him for quite as long as many of you. I didn't know him for decades. I knew him for several years. From the moment Josh Schwartz, our Secretary General, asked me to take on this subcommittee. And my first interaction with him was a bit jarring because there was a significant age gap. He was nearly 50 years older than me. But he immediately put me at ease with that smile, that squinty-eyed smile that we all remember. And throughout our years of work together, I never felt that I was being condescended to in any way. I never felt as though he was looking down on me or seeing me as someone meant to serve him or his work. I felt as though he was a partner, and I felt as though he was a friend. He was someone who always knew how to say a kind word, to express hakarat hatov, appreciation for my work, for the work that we did together. And when I think about him, and I was thinking about what I would say today, last night, the first thing that came to mind was the pasuk, the verse from Devarim, Deuteronomy, V'asita hayashar v'atov b'nei Hashem, and you shall do that which is right and good in the eyes of the Lord. And to me, that's really what describes Steve. Steve was, in one word, a mensch. He was just a pleasure to work with, and I will miss him very, very much. Yehi zichro baruch.
I'd like to call on Marion Lehman, the president of Merkaz Canada, who worked closely with Steve, to read to us some words that Alicia Wolnek, who's listening to us, has written and has asked that you read it for us.
I would like to convey to everyone that I am very grateful for all the love and support that has come to me. I am still not able to think about Steve without crying, and I want everyone to know how much Steve loved what he was doing with all the organizational work and being president of Merkaz Olami. He had planned to run again for president. He did not feel that he had accomplished all that he wanted to. Merkaz Olami and Mizorti Olami was his passion and his whole life. We have been involved together in this work for the 55 years that we were married, and he never planned to leave it at this time. When he realized that he was not winning the battle, he told me that he didn't want to die, that he had so much more to give of himself. Thank you all for giving him the opportunity to be your president, and thank you all for working with him through his lifetime.
I'd like to call upon, אני רוצה להזמין את אפי שטנצלר, יושב ראש קרן קיימת לשעבר, שעבד גם כן עם סטיב, לומר פרק תהילים, מזמור תהילים, בבקשה לקום, ולאחרי זה.
I'm sure that everyone has his own friend, Steve. For us, for me, I knew him for a decade, was a conscience and compass at the same time. מזמור לדוד, בבורכו מפני אבשלום בנו. אדוני, מה רבו צריי, רבים קמים עליי. רבים אומרים לנפשי, אין ישועתה לו באלוהים סלע. ואתה, אדוני מגן בעדי כבודי ומרים ראשי. קולי אל אדוני אקרא ויענני מהר קודשו סלע. אני שכבתי וישנה, הקיצותי כי אדוני ישמחני. לא ירא מרבבות עם אשר סביב שתו עליי. קומה אדוני, הושיעני אלוהי, כי הכית את כל אויבי לחי, שיני רשעים שיברת. לאדוני הישועה, על עמך ברכתך סלע. תהא נפשו צרורה בצרור החיים.
נא להמשיך לעמוד. Please remain standing. I would like to invite Rabbi Professor David Lincoln, the president of the Schechter Institute, to recite the El Malei Rachamim.
El Malei Rachamim, shochem b'amromim, אמצמנו חנוכנה תחת כנפי השכינה, במעלות קדושים וטהורים, יזוהר הרקיע מזהירים. את נשמת שמעון בן מאיר ושושנה שלח עולמו, עבור שלום מתפללים על אזכרת נשמתו, בגן עדן תמנוחתו. אנא בעל הרחמים, מסתירי וסתר כנפיך על עולמים, וצרור בצרחם את נשמת אדוני ונחלתו, וינוח בשלום משכבו, ונאמר אמן. יהי זכרו ברוך.
קדיש, יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועלמא דיברה חילותי ועמיך מלכותי, וחייכון ובימכון וחיי בכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ועומד על מיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי וקודשה וברכות. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה משמיה, וחיים טובים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. Thank you everyone for participating. We will conclude with Hatikvah, and we would like to encourage everyone to purchase and plant a tree in memory of Dr. Steve Wolnek. You have the forms there.